Hello, people. Welcome back to Caden Does Politics. And today I'll be talking about modern Americanism, aka constitutionalism, and why we should restore the original facets of American governance and the political system. So, let's first talk about the basis for a political ideology or theory in the first place, which anyone would be required to have a cohesive political ideology. You can't just base it off of nothing. So, what the founding fathers based the entire American system off of was that there is certain unalienable rights endowed to man by the Creator, that the Creator made all man equal, not just one race, one section, or one class, but all of man, which is the American citizen. Because, it's hard to give rights to all of man whenever your government doesn't quite control the whole world. But with that, we go to the French Revolution and the rights of man, which was made by Lafayette, who was arguably a deist, maybe a Christian. I couldn't find much on his religious background, but he believed in a god because whole rights of man by a deity. So we go to the founding fathers. You get like Thomas Paine, who literally wrote the Rights of Man. I think there was a book he made. First thing that comes up on Google is The Rights of Man by Thomas Paine. And now his religious positions for man, he was a deist. But then you get people like Washington, Hamilton, who both agree in line with Paine on the rights of man, but by the triune God instead of the deist God. But yeah, and then you get Benjamin Franklin, you get Thomas Jefferson. All these people were very, very abolitionists. Benjamin Franklin, he was actually a part of an abolitionist Quaker society in Pennsylvania, and he inspired many other abolitionist societies. Thomas Jefferson even proposed in either Constitution or Declaration of Independence, can't quite remember, a set date for the abolition of slavery to be 1800. Which, I mean, it didn't pass because, the South was like, oh, it's like all of our stuff, that's our agriculture. Which, I mean, the South can just cope. I mean, constitutional rights or the rights of man over the southern economy. Like, holy. But yeah, there was many abolitionists with the founding fathers. Hamilton, abolitionist. Washington, definitely abolitionist. Like, you should see his letters. They are very against slavery. It's like a stain on the morality of man. Stuff of that sort. So, as we can see through history, if you don't listen to like a fringe intellectual group that like those founding fathers, they were racist, they hated black people, blah blah blah. Whenever Washington was like good friends with like at least one or two black people, and then he treated his slaves like really well. And then even Jefferson let go of all of his slaves after he died, which is around 100. Even already married a slave, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, and then Benjamin went on to do abolitionism, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, founding fathers very abolitionist. Now the rights of man are from the Creator, and the only way a nation state with the people in mind can exist is that the rights by the Creator are protected by the government, which is the sole purpose of the governance, is the protection of the rights of man. And now, outside of the rights of man, you have rights of man, okay? This is the thing that the government don't touch. Government securities, the government cannot like interact with this section. Then you have prosperity, security, stuff of that nature. National pride, nationalism, anything else is outside of the rights of man. Now, you do not touch the rights of man. The government serves to ensure prosperity, security, etc., etc. Make sure that the rights of man in other places isn't that infringed, aka the Nazis, the Japs. You don't want to be like letting Hitler reincarnate again. But yeah, the rights of man and then prosperity, security. Now, having the rights of man really does help with prosperity and security. The rights of man say, hey, you can be armed. which helps with security. You can be free to trade, to do business, the spread of ideas, which ensures prosperity. And the government can help with that, with, say, like, making the roads, libertarian arguments or something. Ah, the roads are bad, but nah, the roads are actually good. The government should build roads, just better roads. But yeah, and then you get into the federal government, which you can say, but the founding fathers disagreed on federal governance. But it was like modern day, they'd be lumped into the exact same political party, and they'd compromise to like just do whatever Washington thought. That'd be like if they were in the modern day. But then, now the government should represent the people and the state. The Senate represents the state. The House of Representatives represents the people. That's a pretty fair notion to say. I don't think any of the. And to add on to this, to add on to Americanism, you add nationalism, civic nationalism. Well, I mean, it's more like national nationalism, because, like, it's the American people, the American spirit, the American, like, there's one race, the American race, and that is the only race that is acceptable. There is no white, there is no black, there is no Asian, there is American. That is the only thing that should separate. There's the Americans, and then there's the non-Americans. The only Americans are American citizens, and that should not be hard to comprehend. Even the founding fathers held great pride for the nation. You're like, ah, they were just trying to like do the freedom, blah blah blah. They weren't nationalists. You should see the Fourth of July parades. You're like, I'm going to like blow up the sky, but I really don't like it. The nation's fine. But we're just here for the concept. No, they loved the country, and which should be continued. Which I mean, the government should be able to have military parades for just the 4th of July. We should be able to harness like the American people are protected by a higher being. Like that shouldn't be controversial. Most of the American founders thought that God was intervening in the Revolutionary War and continued to protect Americans. So yeah, I'll go more on the theological end in the next video, but this is just describing like the basic factors, the rights of man, how the founding fathers supported it, and how there should be limited government intervention outside the securing of the rights of man. But hey, that is all, and I hope you all enjoyed this, and see you in the next video. Bye.